I'm Edie Lush, Executive Editor at Hub Culture. It is Davos 2023, and I'm delighted to have two fine women come into my studio. Thanks very much for coming by, having a chat. Sabrina, Eva, very nice to see you.
Thank you for having us.
Please introduce yourself. Sabrina, what do you do at Copper? What is Copper and what do you do?
What is Copper and what do I do? My name is Sabrina Wilson. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Copper. We are an infrastructure provider specialized in digital assets with service institutions. We have two sides to our business. One is the regulated business where we provide custodial services and asset servicing for institutions, as well as providing technology solution under an enterprise solution for institutions.
Interesting. All right.
My name is Eva Gustavsson. I am the Head of Public Affairs for Copper. I've just joined actually just about 12 days ago.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
Trial by fire.
Trial by fire. It's going to be great. So what that means is essentially I'm going to be looking after our engagement with public bodies. That means mostly government, but also any kind of rulemaking, policymaking bodies. And sort of managing our communication with them and building a reputation and hopefully making some nice friends.
Interesting. What sets Copper apart from the rest of the industry, especially now, Sabrina?
I think it's probably best to answer that question by what we don't do.
Okay.
So we don't facilitate trading, we don't take principal risk, we're not lending, we're also not covering retail investors. So we really have a nice boundary of post-trade servicing, infrastructure solutions for institutions. And custody is absolutely key. When you're dealing in digital assets, you need someone to safekeep, store your assets, and really provide security solutions. So that's what we do at the core of the business. And we also have a very unique selling point, which is our product called ClearLoop, that allows those institutions to really use the custodian as a collateral agent and really remove all of the exposure from the exchanges that they need to trade and facilitate transaction from. So that really sets us apart from the point that we are really thinking about the transfer of what is relevant in traditional finance and how did we apply that to digital assets. So we really have a nice niche of post-trade solutions, really adapted to collateral management, capital efficiency, order routing, as well as custody and security solutions.
Interesting. From a public affairs perspective, Eva, what's important right now within your space?
Yeah, I think what's really essential right now is, the further development of the guidelines and practices, frameworks from within which, blockchain can continue to develop. It's an absolute imperative right now for the businesses in the industry and also governments, and it's a precondition for the continuation and the growth of the industry. So we see that as a top priority. I think, if you look at sort of what's out there as well and sort of the infrastructure and the market players that are in place, decentralized systems and the rules that exist are already sort of looking at digital assets as global assets, which they are. They cross boundaries, which means that governments need to talk to each other as well.
Sometimes difficult.
Sometimes difficult. And, it's one of the great things that happens at Davos.
Right.
And so that's going to be an imperative for the industry and for governments in the near term as well.
How do we get increased industrial participation, industry participation within the space, Sabrina?
Regulation is one that will naturally enable the institutions to have that built-in trust and the ability to have really common frameworks with what they are used to in traditional capital markets. And I'm sure Eva will be best placed to answer some of the trends that we see in that. So that's one aspect. Number two is, what do institutions care about? They care about being able to access the market in the most capital efficient way. So that is why our product has been doing very well. This is also why we're here, and this is why our CEO has been also identified as one of the young leaders and innovators, and we're really proud to be here at Davos actually in that capacity. But I think that intel that we've applied to what will be the markets of tomorrow is incredibly important. Collateral, efficiency, security, trust. Institutions really want to be facing providers that can provide all of those trusted solutions. And I think that's really the key, as well as a regulatory framework that allows them to really be comfortable with the counterparties that they're facing in terms of risk management, in terms of really regulatory clarity, and really consistency across the globe. I think we don't talk enough about the fact that in order for institutions to also be able to trade 24/7, because our markets are 24/7, we really need those regulations to be harmonized. We need them to be equivalent. We need the standards to be very established. and it's going to be a long journey. We're really at the beginning of the journey, but we're
still very early days,
for
right?
Sure, for sure.
And do you think that these issues around trust regulation are getting the kind of sunlight that they need here in Davos?
Absolutely. I think they're at the forefront of some of the conversations that we've been having, we've seen others having. I think what we've seen primarily here is like a deep conversation between digital asset providers and traditional financial services providers around partnership and sort of how to move the industry forward. We've seen a lot of that conversation.
Interesting. Any other takeaways for you, Sabrina?
I think for me, the important thing of institution is they're recognizing the power of blockchain, right? It's transparent, single source of truth, single source of information, instant settlement, and the instant settlement frees up a lot of trapped collateral that's in the system. We know that most of the financial markets are over-collateralized for the reasons of protecting investors against risk. Once you start getting the settlement really truncated to the instant, you don't necessarily need to trap as much collateral. And we see a lot of the institutions really focused on that because it's capital efficiency. And in a context of also a global recession, capital is very precious. So I would say that the underlying method and the technology powered by blockchain can really give all of those benefits. And that's why we're doing all these conversations and partnerships around what would the markets of tomorrow look like and how can copper be relevant?
Interesting. Thank you so much, Sabrina and Eva, for stopping by the Hub Culture studio, Davos 2023.